Hello everyone. Today it is a lot warmer. Let's look at the temperature. 1 degree. Nice. Okay. The plan for today is Baji Quan. I have to make the music a little bit more quiet. Okay. So the plan for today is Baji Quan. Right now you've only seen me doing weapon taolus because I really like weapons, especially weapons in traditional Chinese martial arts. But yeah, I also have to go of the basics, you could say, at least a little bit. So, Baji Quan, Xiao Baji. I think the style that so in Baji you have like two different main directions, you could say. You have the military Taiwanese thing that's still used in the military training for the royal bodyguards, or not royal bodyguards, but like, what are they called? The guards of the president, let's say it that way. So they still use it, which is pretty cool. Oh, that's a pretty deep cut in my shoe. Where did this come from? Yeah, they still use that. It looks a lot more choppy and hard. And then there's the other one, which is the more, let's say, traditional one. I think it's the Cangzhou. Is it from Cangzhou or Henan? Oof. I don't know. But there is another version, and I'm doing the other version. I have learned both at a certain point in time, but I didn't practice them that much because at that time I wasn't that interested in practicing Baji. So the plan is to repeat a little bit of what I still know, and then maybe, if I have the time and the energy for it, adding a few movements to cramp. See if I can maybe continue the form a little bit. So the one that I'm doing today and practicing is a very basic one. So the first Baji form that you have, so it's called Xiao Baji, I think. So small Baji. Baji translated means 8 extremes. Yeah. So what I really like about Baji is that there are not that many jumps. It's a very like down to earth kind of style. You don't really have to, jump and like move very swiftly or anything. It's more, at least the style that I practice is focused on relaxing at certain parts, and then but also putting a lot of power in like a very brief moment to use your whole body's energy to go through your enemy, or not your enemy but your opponent, let's say it that way. That sounds a lot more peaceful. Okay, so let's just go through it lightly, and then see what we got, and then go from there. So I'm just going through it very, very lightly. So I'm not going into the stances very deep, not putting too much power into all the movements, just going through it, and then see where I am. I think it was like this, like that. Whoop! There was some dirt coming back down. think that was not correct. So after this, down like this, then back to the front, back like that, fist like this, 2 fists like this, back. I think I'm missing a step here. So from here, back like that, then like that, I think, and then I think like this. Yeah, I'm still in count. Then, oh, I think it's a fist. So from here, fist, grab, punch, and this. And then I think it's from here going 1, 2, and then same on the other side. Oh, I have to practice this. Down, punch like this, and then back, and then like this, I think. Whew. I'm very uncertain about the movements. And then stab, and then I think like this, and then going down like this, and that's, I think, all I can remember. Oh my. I don't feel secure or safe in neither of all these movements. Well, then let's just go through it again, because I always have to think about the next movement. So more repetition. I think I know the principles mostly of these movements, but I first want to have like all the movements down and then perfect them. So let's go again. One, is it the right foot that goes first? No, I think it's the left. 1, oh, I forgot this. 2, this is a 40-60 stance. Punch. Oh yeah, no power at all. I really have to practice all of these. There is so much power missing. Doing all of these movements so relaxed. There's so much energy missing. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, that wasn't timed correctly. I'm always spraying dirt on myself. I think like this. Yeah, both hands like this, down like this, and then going around, step like that, like this over here, punch, push, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh my. Oh, it got dark. Let me just... Better. Oh yeah. Clouds in front of the sun. I have to memorize it. So for memorization, you have to go through it over and over again. Usually I wouldn't say, like, if I would teach someone, I wouldn't make it like the way that I'm doing it right now, because I know the basic principles behind these movements, and I know that I can fairly quickly adjust the movements and how I do them, and then know how to train that. But if I would teach someone else, I would do it that way, that I teach one movement by one movement first, and then make sure that they at least get like 60-70% of the movement correct before I go to the next movement. Reason for that is, especially when you start in the beginning and you don't have the let's say cognitive structures in your head that are combined with the movements that you do, it's harder to change something that you're already trained into your brain. It's less your muscles, it's more your brain that you train it into. And then if you train something wrong and repeat that because you don't want to forget it, but it's wrong, or a certain detail of the movement is wrong, it's fairly hard to change it afterwards. Of course, the more you become proficient in martial arts, and the more you practice and the more movements you learn and all that things, the more you understand the basic principles, and the easier it is to change it also after you learn the movement, because then it's only the details that you have to work on, not the basic big things. But like, for example, if your stance is not correct, I try to not go further if the stances are not perfect. I usually pick a basic form, and then I train that over and over and over until at least the basics are good. And then after the basics are settled in and kind of cemented in the correct way, then I will continue. And then that will open up a big and broad spectrum of martial arts styles and forms you can practice, because once the basics are set, they kind of repeat in every style in one way or another, so they're similar, and you can make this translation or this transfer in your brain fairly easy. But you first need to get to that certain point, and that's why, from my understanding, that's why in ancient China and in tradition, you usually have like one taolu, one set that you practice for years and perfected until your teacher is satisfied, because that's the basics. You need to have that. Once that's done, once that's settled, you can focus on something else. But like, if you focus on something else before that, before your basics are settled, your basics will never settle. They will never get set in stone. They will never cement themselves into your brain and into your body. So that's why practice makes perfect. And trust your teacher in the process. Like, if he only lets you practice one taolu for like 3 years, but he always finds something that you have to correct, something new, and you try to correct that, and he finds something new again. That's progress. That's very good. You don't need to have a lot of taolus. You don't need to be able to practice lots of different forms and styles and whatever. That's all not necessary. Focus on one thing, try to make it as perfect as possible, and then you can easily transfer all the gained knowledge, experience, and strength and coordination onto another set. That's very easy. So stick to one thing, pull through until your teacher says, yeah, it's fine. don't stress your teacher too much by saying, oh, I want when can I learn a new form, can I learn a new set, when your teacher always wants to tell you, wait a minute, the set that you already learned that I'm teaching you right now, it's not done yet. You're not at the point where you're able to learn something new. So yeah, trust your teacher in that sense. Let's put it that way. Trust the teacher in that sense, and don't be too not patient. Practice patience. And if you really want to learn martial arts, it will come by itself. You don't have to rush it. My teacher, he said, there's a Chinese saying, you cannot make a tree grow faster by pulling on it. It is like that. It really is like that. Oh, by the way, my teacher is, for those who want to know, my teacher is Professor Liu Fu 老师 in Los Angeles at the Fuxing College. That's where I gained all my high-level martial arts skills. So I started when I was very young with just the basics. I didn't learn any set or anything. My mother just did some exercises that stemmed from wushu. And then after that I went to Taiwan. There I got to meet Jiehong Dage. He taught me quite a lot. He practiced a lot of sets with me, and he really got me into wushu. And then after that, a few years later, I went to Los Angeles to Professor Liu Fu 老师 and trained with him. And I actually was assistant teacher at the Fuxing College there as well. So I taught as well under his guidance, together with my learning brother Diane. I posted a post on Ganjing World about that. His performance at the international martial arts competition. That was crazy. He was really good. Like, he still is really good. I think he's still there as assistant teacher. I'm back in Germany. Yes. Okay, let's go again. Enough talk. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, this set is also taught by Jiehong Dage. That's why I'm very, let's say, afraid that I don't practice it good and don't give it justice in the way the movements should be performed. At least that's what I'm afraid of. Like that, and then I can go over here. Oh yeah, back, down, step. This one is like it's so soft how I do it. It's like as if a girl is doing it. A girl is doing a step. Oh my god. Because when Jiehong Dage does these movements, it's like you can feel it in the ground. So when I do these, it feels like a little girl. Wait, this one is a little bit different. You smack your fist, and kick, you grab, and then punch like that. Whoa. Again, you didn't see that, I think. So you go over like this. I think I have to go over a little bit more. Oh, like this, grab down, punch like that, push back, do like this, cool movement. And then this movement, which is also pretty cool. and then down, up. Whew. I don't know why exactly, but I'm not the biggest fan of empty-hand talos. It feels a little bit naked, you could say. No, I don't feel naked, but like for me it's more like if I don't have a weapon on me that I can use to defend myself, firstly it's my fault, and secondly I'm not creative enough, because there's always something that you can use as a weapon. You can use a stick, you can use your phone, you can use, I don't know, your bag, you can use your tripod, you can use a stone, anything. So and that's actually something that's for me fairly important, because using a tool opens up so much more combat capabilities than just using your bare fists. So for me, using your bare fists in a combat situation is like somewhat stupid, I would say, at least for my understanding. If you really are in a life and death situation, that's what I mean. But to get there, to that escalation point, there's a lot more things that have to happen. So in between those things, I think there are 3 things that are really good to be practicing. One is like wrestling, but I'm talking about traditional Chinese wrestling. So it's more like standing fairly upright, not laying on the floor and then like getting into chokes, but like actually how to throw someone. That's what I mean by wrestling. So 摔跤, traditional Chinese wrestling, 摔跤. The second thing is 擒拿. So like hand techniques, how to lock someone, how to lock someone's arm, how to lock someone's legs, all these things. These are, submission. I think that's a submission, what it's called in English. That's also very important. And the third thing is using your body. So like Baji has like movements where you really are stepping into your opponent and you're imagining as if one of your punches or one of your elbows throws your opponent 5 meters away. That's like 6 yards for Americans. And so I think these 3 things, if you have these, if you fairly know how to use them, you're pretty well set up for not that escalated combat situation. But also in terms of combat, let's practice, because I caught my breath. That's why I'm talking that much, just to catch my breath. And but in my understanding, in my own philosophy, ideology, it's like to actually get into a fight situation where you really need to utilize your combat skills, it's always your fault. Because in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I believe that if a situation escalates, it's always partially your fault. In the sense of, you had the chance to actually not let that situation happen. And if it really happened, it was because of you not de-escalating it, where you could have de-escalated it. So then this begs the question, why practice martial arts? Well, for me, practicing traditional Chinese martial arts is actually more of an art of your body and your body's movement, because it has such a long tradition. There have been so many people thinking and talking about these movements and things that I believe they gained at least some sort of expertise And I trust this expertise. So, what does traditional Chinese martial arts mean for me, and why do I practice it? It comes down, for me, it's the art of using your body, your own human body, in the most efficient way that there is. I think all kinds of sports have kind of the same purpose. Utilizing your body's function, or one of your body's function, in one of the most efficient ways that is possible. So, like for example, bodybuilders are not the strongest people in the world, because there is a muscle to weight ratio, also the composition of your muscles, also your nervous system, also your blood circulation system. All of these factors come into play when generating strength. When generating speed, it's still a totally different topic. Generating speed requires less big muscles. They're still visible, they're still big. You see that the person is fit, athletic, and trained, but it's not a bodybuilder. So, usually, obviously everyone is different. We're all individuals. But for me, traditional Chinese martial arts combines all of the aspects that come into your body and your body's movement, and tries to max out all the stats, like in a video game where you have like character points and you can put them into certain stats like strength, agility, stamina, all these things. And for me, traditional Chinese martial arts tries to max out all of these stats equally, that you get at the end result the most efficient human body that you yourself as an individual are capable of. And that's something so profound and something so, I would just say divinely almost in it, to max out what has been given to you, like your body. That's given to you. That's like grown onto you. Like not your clothes, not what you've achieved something, but like your body. That's you. And to max out all of that has something, I would say almost divine in it. And that's why I also believe that traditional Chinese martial arts is an art form that's passed down over generations and has its roots in the, what is it called, in the will, or in the search of divine in yourself, you could say, something like that. I love it. That got highly philosophical, I'm sorry for that, but like that's at least my understanding, and that's why I practice martial arts, even though I am not in a position where I ever want to be in the need of using that in a real life fight situation, because for me it's not about fighting, it's about perfecting yourself. That's the thing that I'm looking for. Perfecting myself in the most natural way that there is. So for example, one thing that modern science has just started to research is isometric training. Some people have asked me if I do strength training by any chance. I do, actually. And there are also traditional Chinese martial arts ways of training your strength. And to put it in, let's say, specialist terms, it's isometric holds, isometric training. What does that mean? For those who don't know, isometric means holding. So you have like three kinds of movements. You have eccentric, which is, for example, if you use your biceps and you have a weight in your hand. Eccentric is lowering something, so like the lengthening of your muscle is called an eccentric movement. Then you have concentric, which means shortening your muscle. And then you have isometric. Isometric means you're holding it, not moving at all. And that's something that traditional Chinese martial arts has always done. You probably have heard of the training method oh yeah, the Shaolin monks, they have to carry like buckets of waters like that up a mountain. That's isometric training. You're holding all the time, and that puts a huge amount of stress on your shoulders. And also a principle that's very well known in traditional Chinese martial arts, real traditional Chinese martial arts, is progressive overload. I'm doing it very lightly now because I started to sweat, and I don't want to sweat too much because otherwise I will, oh, that was wrong, because otherwise I will cool out too quick. Progressive overload. So for those people who don't know, progressive overload is a very important principle in hypertrophic training. So if you want to gain strength or muscles or whatever, you have to progressively overload your muscles or your body, which means, for example, adding a little bit of weight every week or every day, something like that. That's basically progressive overload. You can do it in different ways. You can also perfect your technique. That's also progressive overload. It's not because your technique becomes better and that's why it's overloading your body. It's because if you do the technique and a movement how it is supposed to do, oftentimes it's a lot more stressful. It's a lot more difficult to do. So that's why that's also progressive overload. Oh, I'm not on camera anymore. Oh, I'm still. Never mind. So that's also a way to progressively overload your body. And that's something traditional Chinese martial arts knew for like several thousands of years. If you go back to the example with the young monk who has to carry buckets, if you end up in a monastery like that, they don't demand you to carry like full buckets of water at the first day. No, they will give you small buckets and then fill them just a little bit. You do that on your first day, you do it on your first week. Slowly, the first day is going to be the worst. The second day is going to be even worse. But then, after about a week, your body realized, oh, I have to do something here. I need strength. And it slowly starts to adapt. But then, it only adapts to the amount that it actually needs to. So when it starts adapting, you have to progressively overload so that it doesn't stop to adapt to give you more strength, but like the curve goes, oh, let's do it from this way, up, and then at that point the maximum amount of strength that you would need to lift small buckets is reached. Then it would settle around here, but right at that point you have to add some weight, so your body realizes, oh, I need more, and then you continue that and it goes up, and that's progressive overload, simply put. And that's something Chinese people knew for several thousands of years. So there is so much knowledge, so much ingenuity, so much creativity in traditional Chinese martial arts. If you do a real traditional set and you do it good, it almost is like a piece of music. It almost is like it's art. It actually looks very pleasing. Oh my god, I think it's really broken. I have some small stones in my shoe. So it's like a piece of music. It's pleasing to watch to watch someone doing a set, a real traditional Chinese martial arts set. It doesn't look harsh, it doesn't look aggressive, but it looks powerful. It looks virtuous, it looks righteous, but at the same time it looks humble. And as I said, virtuous. You feel like, okay, this person is a good person. And you can just see that by how the person moves, how this person is doing the set. And that's something so poetic in traditional Chinese martial arts. I've never seen it in any other martial arts form. And that's why I'm also saying that there is so much creativity behind that. Of course, you shouldn't, if I don't know the rules about that, about creating your own sets, but I wouldn't dare to right now because I don't think I am at that level. But yeah, it's like there's beauty behind that, and that's why I think calling it martial arts is so fitting, but like not in an aggressive or violent way, but like in a profound, beautiful and virtuous way. And I think that's real traditional Chinese martial arts. I'm talking about only talking about traditional Chinese martial arts, not other martial arts. And yeah, so what you want to see in someone doing the Taolu, not in me right now, because I'm just practicing and I'm trying to memorize the movements. But like what you want to see in someone doing real traditional Chinese martial arts is like movements that just synergize together, that flow like water, that strike like lightning, and that are virtuous in and of itself. I think that's the true essence of traditional Chinese martial arts. And that's what I'm striving for, as good as I can. Well, let's see how good I will achieve that goal in a few years. I hope I can achieve that someday in the future. We will see. I missed the movement here. What I missed was when I was here, I shouldn't look down. I should look back, and I'm doing this. The hand has to go here. Yeah. I could go on about traditional Chinese martial arts even longer. Oh, yeah, by the way, just a few minutes ago I talked about my martial arts teacher, that I have to thank him for all the high level martial arts skills that I have developed in the last year or last 2 years. It's like all thanks to him. It was as if he was opening a gate for me. Of course it was hard training and I had to put in a lot of effort, but like it was absolutely worth it. So if you have the chance and you're in a Los Angeles area, hit up Professor Liu Fu 老师 or Dayan, Liu Dayan. They're both like, Liu Dayan is his assistant teacher, he's my learning brother. They're both still in the Los Angeles area. Hit them up, ask them if you can attend their martial arts class. I can only recommend it, really. If you're not in the Los Angeles area, it also doesn't hurt to pay them a visit and just talk with them, maybe. Okay, let's go through it again, very lightly. Okay. 1, 尽力. 2, 3. Let's see if I can do it without thinking about it. I still don't feel that I get this movement right. I have to practice this a lot more. But not today. Today is not for perfecting the movement. Today is just to not forget the movements again. Oh, still, that's not the whole form. There's still a lot of things missing. I think like 1/3 is missing. So this is just for memorizing purpose. Like that, yes. Whoo! That was great. Very good. Not too bad. I'm happy with that. Let's go through it very, very lightly. So like not lightly, but like 1%. Okay, let's say 5%. I think 1% is disrespectful. So like 1% is about, not 5%. We said 5% is about this. It's really just for memorizing purposes. I think here I can use a lot more my body. Yeah, that felt better. A lot better. Down, 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 up, up. Oh, like this. Up, 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 up. Both fists down, like this. Going over like this. Like this. Kick. Like this. Kick. Punch. Push. Stab. It's not a stab, but it's like, I don't know how to say. Like this. I don't know if the knee should be like this or like this. I feel like to the front is better. And like that. Good. I think that was good. Not too bad. Not too shabby. A good workout. Did I finish saying what I wanted to say before? So if you're in the Los Angeles area, pay them a visit. And also, in terms of what he is offering, price-wise, it's like worth every penny. I went there with a severe back injury. I dislocated one of my spinal discs, you could say, something like this. So it was a really severe injury. I walked like this for like a month. It was crazy. And then after like 5 months or something, I could like go down that much because of the pain. And I went there, and in the first month of training, I really had to push through it, and I really had to push hard. But he never made me push to a certain point where it became dangerous for me. Somehow. I cannot really explain it, but like the training there was like, I trained there, it was hard, and I had to overcome my own laziness, you could say. So in the first week, I can still remember, we learned a set with the short stick, and in the first week, no, after the first week, he gave me 1 week to arrive, and then the second week he said, you must not forget this set, this short stick set. And then I was like almost struck with the drum or something, which led me to the next day. I did the set 50 times, which took 4 hours in total. That's so crazy, because I could not remember it, and then I always had to look back and then go again, and also you're exhausted. So doing a whole set 50 times in the course of a day took some time. Or maybe it was 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. I think 350 or something. Anyways, after that I didn't forget it. But like things like this, I really had to grow over myself. And after the first month, all of my back pain went away. It was just gone, as if it was never there. That was so crazy. It's like this. When I went there, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? I'm injured, I can't move, I can't do anything. And then I went there and he was like, no problem. Just attend the training, try to do as much as you can. And I did. And that really was for me that moment from, okay, that's traditional Chinese martial arts. Okay, wow, that's real traditional Chinese martial arts. It's not something that damages your body, it's something that improves your body and even heals it. Also, Qigong was a big part of it, for sure, but like any kind of sport that damages your body, to me, is not a real sport in terms of benefiting you as a human being. And that's where traditional martial arts comes into play, because I think traditional Chinese martial arts, real traditional Chinese martial arts, has such a big focus on not giving you any combat capabilities or strength or being better than anyone else. No, it's just about you being better than your past self, about improving your body, and in a healthy kind of way. Health is one of the most important things in traditional Chinese martial arts. If you have a martial arts teacher who's like ignoring your health, that's not a real traditional Chinese martial arts teacher. Health is one of the biggest things that traditional Chinese martial arts strives for. And that was also what Li Laoshi always said, like, don't do too much, don't hurt yourself, always do it in a healthy kind of way, but push yourself. So yeah, and it's unimaginable how much you can push yourself without it becoming an injury if you do it correctly. And this doing it correctly, I mean by that doing the movements in a way that they don't hurt your body, and that way in almost all of the cases is how they do it in traditional Chinese martial arts, real traditional Chinese martial arts, not contemporary wushu. So yeah, that's why I do traditional Chinese martial arts. That's why I practice wushu. And just to clarify for those who are not familiar with the terms, wushu is just a Chinese term for traditional Chinese martial arts, or Kungfu. So if you say, if you tell someone who's Chinese, you tell them, yeah, I practice Kungfu, I did that. I practice Kungfu, they're like, Kungfu? What? And you say like, Kungfu. And they're like, what? What's Kungfu? And then you tell them wushu, and they're like, oh, wushu, oh yeah, I know that. Oh, like Bruce Lee. Yeah. So wushu is not a special term for any kind of traditional Chinese martial arts. It's just the general term for traditional Chinese martial arts in Chinese. So I don't really like it when people say like, oh yeah, I practice wushu, and they mean that they practice the modern contemporary traditional Chinese martial arts, which is more like gymnastics. I'm like, no, that's not wushu, or not what I understand under wushu. Maybe you have to create a new Chinese term for traditional wushu and like contemporary wushu. Who knows? I don't. But when I say wushu and kung fu and traditional Chinese martial arts, I always mean the same. Okay, that's it for today. Bye.